Seriously, you're looking for a Christ man, the one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord, to do His will. I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put your faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on cargo.
My man Yahanna don't like no soldiers. With the Spirit of the Lord, we don't like no soldiers. You understand me?
The same, black, Hispanic, native, they hate y'all as the same. Hate Christ in their image, hate you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate African soft niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell, toilet connected to the sink. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lie sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the I.S.U.P.K, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a child. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. U.P.K the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under Yahanna, ain't he murdered by them and got a hug from Yahanna? That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priest bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, ranking order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game. Put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves.
Aquí somos la Escuela Israelita del Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Hoy estamos aquí. Saludos como del General Yahanna na I.S.U.P.K.
This is what Commander General Yahanna did. This is what he did.
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. I had to dig.
That's right.
You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church.
Hey, oh, yeah, hey. Fuck wrong with you, boy? You know what time it is, nigga. Better watch how you step in, yeah. But that was my nigga, yeah. I'm in a yo. Got my nigga Rawan with me. But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor. You know what I'm saying? Under commanding General Yahanna. That for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. top. I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown. I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my Hakim gon' let him have it. Hey, make you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it. Ain't got no manners. All them pussy niggas talking shit. Y'all know they can't stand us, but we U.P.K, Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm rippin'. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For why take your life or let you take mine? That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting to get accepted. We hear the truth and reject it, but love is getting corrected. And all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey.
I'm Most High in Christ. Yabashim Shabbat Thumbs. Yashima Atabashim Yashai. It's I.S.U.P.K. DC, Washington DC Scripture Breakdown class. We're gonna be rocking it on. You know what I mean?
Yes, Shakata.
Hey, Yabashim Shabbat, what's going on now?
I'm too opposite.
All right. Yeah, so we're gonna be rocking it tonight. Getting it in. I'm getting a little bit of extra cord here. It's all right. I got it. That's too wild. All right. So, yeah, man. So, we're going to rock it out tonight. You all know, make sure everybody put your phones on vibrate, please. All right. So, yeah, tonight we're going to go into a theory called, what's it called?
Declining significance of race.
The declining significance of race. All right. Now we're going to go into it and see exactly what it's talking about. Right. This was a book written by a Harvard professor, a brother. And he's about 88 years old now, I believe. And we're going to go into it a little bit. Right. His entire book, of course, is not, true and biblical. There's parts in there that is definitely pertinent, especially to what we're going through today as a people. You know what I mean? As an absolute people. Bukwash, one more. Just because of the heat of this, could you put this smoke right in that space in front there? Just because of the heat. I don't want it to have any kind of effect. To water too. All right. Of course, if you have any questions, you could type them in. or you could yeah, I think that's the right. If you have any questions, you could type them in, or you can call in. What was your number again?
It's 202-989-1950.
All right, 202-989-1950. I believe you're gonna put it up on the screen, right?
Okay.
Go like, subscribe, I.S.U.P.K Washington DC, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, also TikTok, right? Also on TikTok, check us out. TikTok, we're gonna be doing exclusive classes. You're not gonna be able to get them anywhere else. Go to I.S.U.P.K Washington DC on TikTok. Make sure you like and follow so you can get up in the class. Them classes ain't gonna be really available anywhere else. Make sure you chime in, like and share it with with everybody you know, and we get it in. All right. So with everything that's going on, you see we have the 200 and something bodies that was found in Mississippi. All right, that and all is just ridiculously mind blowing, and that would break anybody's spirit to wake up one day and your loved one, who you thought probably went to some other city, just ghosted the whole family, is in some unmarked grave somewhere without any sort of dignity or dignified burial, any sort of funeral service that's given to everybody. You know what I mean? This oppressor, he'll make a big deal over dogs. You understand? He'll make a big deal over canines. I think last year in DC they had some flooding, and some old shampoo shop for dogs got flooded out, and a ton of them dogs died in the cages because, of course, the foolish alphabet boys who be really the ones running them shops just ran out and left the damn dogs in there. And they wanted to crucify the 911 operator, so blaming her for it. Of course, being a sister, they want to blame her. They want to start making all kind of policies and legislations for that part of the city where the dogs were. Instead of, Negro, rain coming, it's going to flood. Let the dogs out. Let the dogs out. But no, and then now they get more justice being dogs. But brothers, black men, black women are waiting to hear the stories about the women. Like what happened to them down there is going to be, mind-blowing. It's going to be absolutely astonishing. And this is only one, grave pit. This is only one grave pit they found. Imagine the rest of them. Imagine the rest of them all over the place that they're going to find, because 200 and something bodies, brother. They're doing this for a while. They ain't just start doing it. They've been doing it. What's going on, priest? You know what I mean? They've been doing it, and they've been doing it to us, which is absolutely horrible. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get more into it. You all know this is an election year, which means, everybody gonna be showing their ass, because it's power and income for the next 4 years. That's what they're gonna be focused on. The power and the income that they should be having for the next 4 years. Go ahead, Art.
I heard that they prosecuted that trying to get Donald Trump, got the charges on Donald Trump. He got something against him when he had like a legal relationship, a bad relationship with another prosecutor or something like that, which will make Donald Trump happy. You know what I'm saying? But
say that one more time.
Donald Trump's prosecutor is having like I'm gonna just say illegal. I don't know the word legal for legal relationship with
illegal or legal.
I mean, in our terms, probably legal. They probably did the thing.
Okay.
But whatever it was in politics is unwanted, and that makes that prosecutor look bad, which will make Donald Trump, be happy about the whole situation, trying to get off his charges. You know what I mean, brother?
Trump. What did he say? I don't know if you remember. Trump said he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and will not lose a vote.
Right. Yeah.
it don't matter what they find or what they don't find or whose political relationship comes, into the light. That shit don't matter. Remember, Trump had a lawyer called Cohen. That when they raided all his offices, they raided Trump's lawyer. This was the time with the whole Stormy Daniels thing, and they was going to charge this lawyer, and Cohen cut the deal. He cut the deal quick. He said, "I'll tell you anything you want to know." Why Trump's still walking around? It don't matter with him because he's tapping into something that is so pure and so at the very core of everybody, which is the love of your own. You understand? The love of your own is pure and is at the bottom of everything. Let me tell you how powerful Trump is, and it's good. This is going to really help you understand it in black terms because we don't have that type of love in that strong effect as a nation. You see how them women rally for Beyonce? That's white people for Trump. If that, you'll understand that shit. You say something bad about Beyonce, oh man, you could get into a physical fight on the street over that shit. That's Trump supporters. What could she do to offend her fan? Nothing. Nothing. She could throw that little daughter off the Eiffel Tower. They'll say the daughter was evil. They'll say, well, she did something to deserve it because, B wouldn't do something like that. That's Trump. That's Trump supporters. You get the point? Just speak up, Alex, if you can't see. No sweat, it might be. Let's wait a couple seconds. You get the point? So that's what's going on there with them. Go ahead, Alex.
It's like, to add to it, though, it's like the Lord be putting everything, puzzle pieces, just fall in place, chess pieces to fall in place because the last time he was the president was the last time that we were a little bit more together as people because we could see the outright racism that these oppressors had. You know what I'm saying? It's like he putting him in place. He got the war going in place. Like it's falling. The dominoes are falling like they're supposed to.
You would think so. You would think so. You would think so. But there's always a spin in the tail. Why? Because this oppressor, brother, because of who he is, the Bible said he is going to put up a fight. That's in the Apocrypha. It says it in the Apocrypha. He's not going to give up this seat easier. He is going to put that fight up, and he's not going to give up what he has just because you say something. You get the point? You can just leave it on the step there. Let's put it high up on the step. All right. Okay.
We do have a question online, sir.
Whenever you're ready,
I.S.U.P.K. Buffalo, New York asks, can I get a general breakdown on Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20, Baba Bashar?
All right.
Okay. This is Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
That's 8 and 20 or 8 and 30?
8 and 20, sir.
What's 8 and 30 say?
30? There's no 30, sir.
Okay.
22.
8 and 20. Okay, no sweat. Read it again.
Come. Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
And who asked this again?
I.S.U.P.K. Buffalo, New York.
Okay, Buffalo. This is like this particular scripture is saying exactly what it means, exactly what it's saying. To the law and the testimony. The law and the testimony is what? The laws of the Bible and the accounts of the prophet. That's what the testimony is. Their record. This whole Bible here, right? This Bible with the Apocrypha, it's damn near, it's a law and the testimony. It's eyewitness or witness account of what happened. It's historical records. You could say this is a testimony. So to the law and to the testimony, according to these records, read.
If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
If they speak not according to this word, if anybody teaches or speaks anything contrary to what's in here, it's because there is no light in them. It's because they don't have the truth. You understand? This is a good scripture for your Christian church. It's a good scripture for your Muslim mosque, your imams, your Scientologists, your Rastafarians, your atheists, your politicians, your child school teacher, anybody are basically, because the life we live today is what? The life we live today is, that's true, but on topic.
Dark.
That's true too. I'll take that second. Something else first. The life the earth lives today, that people live today as that's normal lifestyle, what they consider normal lifestyle. When I say we, I'm not talking about us in here, but people, the masses, the population. The life people live today is what?
Like I said,
Go ahead.
not according to this word.
That's it. That's the answer you want, because that's in the precept. Read the precept one more time.
Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
So that's why. Now, I named on all the institutions, of course. There's institutions that teach things against the Bible. But of course, there's people who live life every day. They say, I'm non-religious, I don't even go to church, whatever. But in their mind, they think because they don't go to church, they're right, or they're righteous, or they, closer to God, or whatever it is. They definitely, sometimes definitely be better than a Christian. However, if they speak not according to this, you can't take what they're saying as gospel, as the truth. You understand? The lifestyle today, what's considered normal, is not according to this word. It's just not according to this word. You get the point? So that could be used for anybody. Anybody. But of course, for somebody who's coming up against the Bible. Right? That's how I would advise you to use it, because of course you should be fishing. This is a cut scripture. You get the point? This is the scripture to cut somebody. So of course, if you're trying to fish, you're not trying to, crush them. You're trying to show them the truth. Sometimes you have to cut them. That's fine. But this here could be used by and large for damn near anyone with anything, anywhere. A wedding, for better or for worse, for rich or for poor. If they speak not according to this word, there's no light in them. That's not in the Bible. The throwing of the rice, the vows, none of that shit is in the Bible. We get the point? So you could use that for damn near anything. All right? Go ahead. Look what?
It was someone asking for the number. I just put it up there.
No sweat. All right. Was there another one, or are we good?
That was the only question, sir.
All right, that's it for now. No sweat. All right. So we're gonna go into this book here. All right. This book is called "The Declining Significance of Race." It's a study by this sociologist called William Julius Wilson. Went to Harvard, about 88 years old now. He's born in 1930s. It's a brother, of course, but he's a brother who, like most people now, experience both sides of, life, being black and being in America. Being, on the side of your people and being on the side with the oppressors. Right? And he did this analysis on, of course, his opinion. And over the years have been seeing a trend or a pattern, and came with this book, The Declining Significance of Race. Meaning what? he's attempting to explain now why is it whenever there's an argument of racism, you ever notice why people would be like, I'm not racist, that's not racist? It's because the racism now has transformed and evolved, as many of you already know, into more economic power and class. You understand? Which is why they always do what? When we talk about racism, for a few years ago, they say what? You had a black president. You guys have Oprah and Jordan and all of that stuff. And he brings this out in the book. We're going to go into a little bit of it tonight just to explain the whole thing. And damn near a prophecy in the book, which he didn't even know he prophesied, like Caiaphas. You know, when Caiaphas said it's expedient for the nation to benefit by losing one man, he didn't realize he was prophesying what Christ was doing. He said something in this book there, brother, that in the next line, he said that will never happen. And that shit going on right now. And that's why you need a prophet of the Lord from the Israelite school of I.S.U.P.K under command of Yahanna. Because there's nothing new under the sun. And this law and testimony has already been written. We already know the end of the story. We already know the end of the story. Now it's just to endure to the end. All right. So first give me Deuteronomy 4 and 6. Make no marriages with them. It's 4 and 6 or 6 and 4. Give me make no marriages with them. Also, go ahead. Also give me in the Apocrypha 7 and 3. Give me in the Apocrypha. Make sure you keep a record of these scriptures too, please. Give me in the Apocrypha. Hold on. First Ezra 8. All right. First Ezra 8. Start from 82. Down to 86. All right. Not First Ezra, the other one. What I call for?
Look at Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Mm-hmm.
Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son.
Skip up.
Counsel. Book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land, whether thou goest to possess it, and hast cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
Right. So now this is the Lord giving us instructions on how to move. Right. Why is he giving us these instructions on how to move? Because we his children, and if you know anything about children, they don't have a clue about the world. They don't have a clue about dangers, inherent dangers. Right? What do I mean by inherent dangers? They'll try to grab fire. There's an inherent danger in fire. It's fire. You get the point? It's fire. You can't, avoid the danger for it. They'll try to do that. So the Lord is giving us instructions so that we don't grab fire. Right? And he's listing out all these nations, and he's saying as you go into there, keep going.
Okay. Verse 2. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
Right? That's what I want. Right? The Lord told us when we go in there, and the Lord is going to deliver them to us. That's key. Why is that key?
Because there's nothing that we can do that all the power is coming from the Most High. He's the one that's setting this victory on easy mode so that we can go in and clear them out.
Okay, and You're right. You're right. I think that's it. That's you basically worded it a little different. That's exactly it. Go ahead, let me hear it.
It's not in this scripture, but when the Lord said this same thing in Judges, he was saying so that we might know war because we didn't know war. We were slaves. You know?
Okay, that's when he lay us in the wilderness to plead with us. This one, what I'm saying here is not that we didn't know war. We know war all too well. We know war all too well. The problem is we like to fight each other. That's the problem. We place a lot of energy in fighting each other, and we can't achieve damn near nothing else but record what we fight each other so much. There was a DVD series set called what? Beef. You're acting like y'all don't know. We fought so well, people sold the fights. And I'm not talking about physical fights. I'm just talking about gossip about, and this one did this, and this one did that, and he came back with this, the whole just what are you saying now? You saying this? Oh, you gonna take that? Oh, he said this about it. We fight each other so well, brother. We fight each other so well. If we could take that energy and put it into something else, it's different. You get the point? It's different. And we could do that because, again, being children, just like kids, you always have to break them up and tell them what? Don't fight your brothers. Because they don't understand the inherent danger of fighting each other. You get the point? They don't understand that. They don't see the inherent advantage or blessing of coming together. You know, we don't see that. So the Lord has to deliver our oppressors to us, just like he delivered us to the oppressor. You get the point? The oppressor could not have enslaved us if the Lord didn't give us to him. There's no way he could do it, and there's plenty evidence of that. The NFL today is evidence of that. The quarterback role is no longer white. Everybody understand that part, right? In the history of that NFL, that quarterback role was white. It was white like a t-shirt. It's no longer just inherently white no more. You get the point? Any sort of physical activity, we dominate in anything, even in their traditional sports. We dominate. There's no way they could take advantage of us unless the Lord is just not with us. So now, for us to take them over, for us to, subdue them and smite them, the Lord has to be with us. This is important because you had the whatever radicals you had, the Black Panthers, your insurrectionists. I'm from the Caribbean, brother. I grew up in an island named Trinidad where the Muslim section, they call themselves the Jamaat al-Muslimin, was training with Gaddafi in Libya and came in 1990 and staged a coup, a total overthrow of the government, brother. I had the president at gunpoint, took over this TV station. They had to send troops from America for him to surrender. You get the point? For people who think this thing can be taken by physical force, if the Lord is not with, the Lord didn't deliver it into your hand, it's not yours. Everything you have, the Lord has to give it to you, or else you're going to lose it.
It's not like the battle of Gibeon. We only had half of the troops that they had. And the Lord was like, you got too many people. You got too many people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He wanted it to be easy for us, and the Lord knew who we were. You know what I mean?
Not so much, not even just for easy for us, but the Lord has to get the glory in all things. The Lord has to get the glory in all things. So he said, I'll deliver them to you. When I deliver them to you, smite them. Subdue them. Why does he have to tell us that? Just think today.
Because we want to save everybody.
We so kind of. We so kind to everybody else, though. We so kind to everybody else. Our own people, that nigga got to pay. Eminem, he all right, though. He all right. Ain't nobody talking no shit about Eminem. I want Cat Williams to talk about Eminem next. Yeah, go ahead.
Con, what you saying is so heavy because you just reminded me of it was a time when the Most High told us to smite the Amalekites, and we didn't do it. Mm-hmm. But when it came time for the beef with the Benjamites, mm-hmm. Israel almost wiped out Benjamites until it was like, hey, you
Okay, that's
stop.
that. I wouldn't use that example. This is the example I'll juxtapose it with, because the beef with the Benjamites was absolutely legit. Benjamin allowed some evil ass Negroes to dwell in the land and did nothing about it. Those men was sodomites, and they wanted to rape the guest and they killed the girl. You remember? That was a legit beef. That's in what Deuteronomy 10, the precept with the concubine, right? 21 and 10. If you read further up, it tells you what happens if there's a body found in your city. And Benjamin didn't answer. Benjamin did not answer. That's why that priest sent them body parts out to all the tribes and say, shit like this can't go, it can't be left. The other part with Saul spared that Agag, the Amalekite king. He spared him, but later on, the beef with Joab and Abner, that was not left alone. You get the point? Like, that's more of a equated example where Saul didn't want to do this when he should have done it. Joab was supposed to let Abner live because his brother was lost in war. In war, anything could happen. You get the point? Where we at now?
Verse 2.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 7, verse 2. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Right. Once again, these is laws to protect us because we have that propensity to want to be with the heathen. We always want to be with them, want to be part of them, want to be like them, want to be them more than them, want to be the best of them. You get the point? He's laying it down. Make no covenant with them. Smite, rule over them. That's what he's saying. Rule over them. And these heathens are carnal, so they're going to need you to show some force. This is the only thing they respect. You get the point? Go ahead. Verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Right? You're not supposed to make no marriages with them. Nothing like that. All right? You're supposed to be absolutely separate from them. All right? Go ahead. Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Right? Why are we serving other gods? Go ahead. Because we're married to heathen women. Because we make the covenants with them. We did not stay separate. Heathen men and women. It ain't just the brothers. You get the point? We did not stay separate. All right. Hold the other one in Esdras, all right? We're going to come right back to that. Okay, so we're going to touch a little bit on this book here, all right? Because we're going to be skipping through I.S.U.P.K, who I probably have I.S.U.P.K, so he could come up and grab it easy, all right? Okay. I.S.U.P.K, come up and grab this here for me. I'm going to have you read through some of these, and I'm going to tell you where. You're going to start right here, where it's marked, all right? Okay. Then I'm going to tell you where to start read from. We're going to skip through a little bit. Okay. Go ahead. You tell them the name of the book. Okay. Also, Bakwash, pull up for me. It's a video. What's the woman who does cook? Not Martha Stewart. It's another white woman. She's from the South. She had a cook show. She's famous as hell. Forget her damn name. One that got canceled for saying nothing. Yeah, her. There's a famous clip of her explaining. She explained, that she's not racist. I need that clip. Make sure it's not NBC, all right? If it's NBC, brothers, Yeah, we don't, nah. NBC, that's the cartel right there, bro. They're like the feds on YouTube. Stay clear of them. Paula Dolly Dean, what our old broad country as country could be.
I need that clip of her explaining that she's not racist. All right, I'm gonna pull that just now. Go ahead and film me book. Shapat, give me the name of the book too. All right.
The Declining Significance of Race by Will Julius Wilson.
Right, this book was, I think it was published in the 70s, 75, somewhere around there. So he did his study on the history from the 19th century, like the 1800s, all the way up until the 1950s and 60s. All right. Go ahead.
Individual minorities is heavily determined by race.
No. I actually pointed out. You see where the asterisk is on the bottom?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where you're going from. Until the next side where it ends. You see the next side where it ends? Yeah, right there.
It could be suggested that the black class structure is only a truncated version of the white class structure because the average income of black middle class workers is uniformly lower than the average income of the white middle classes. However, this is a consequence of the historic effects of racial discrimination by which older black workers were denied entry into higher paying white and blue collar positions. Since the progressive movement of the more educated blacks into the higher paying middle class jobs is being experienced primarily by the younger segments of the population, the income discrepancies between black and white workers is basically a reflection of differences in seniority. Despite the average income differences between black and white workers, it is clear that economic divisions now exist among blacks. Divisions now exist among blacks. Divisions which show every sign of deepening and which have profound implications for the significance of race in the American experience.
Right. So now, the one thing I gotta say about this book, it's badly written. He runs on where it's like, what is the point you're trying to make? But as you read on, you understand what the hell he's saying. He is saying that when you look at the race relations between black and white folk, it doesn't take a turn into classism now because of everything that happened after quote unquote slavery was abolished and the pre-integration era, right? He was saying that as black people moved into the North, black people became the cheaper option for white management that always wanted to save money. So instead of paying a white man $20 to do it, they're going to pay a black man $5 because in the South, he making 50 cents. You get the point? And because of that, they started to grow a class of black people that was making not big money, but money more than what they was making. So now with that, as those people start to grow in seniority in the job, they would expect that with their experience, they start to move up and with promotions on the job and with more money. The management did not let them move up. So now from the time of early 20th century, early 1900s to the 1950s, you would have had a generation that grew old in jobs, but did not get promotions and, the pay to match it. But then you had the younger generation that older generation put through school. And now they qualified to make more money than the older generation. So while there's still oppression and segregation within the black community, they started to have a class being built. And that's why he's saying, you could pass the book up to me. Let me get the next page. That's why he's saying, as time went on, that there was economic divisions that now exist in the black community. And you will also find this where you would see this a lot in DC as well. In any black area, the older black generation in DC would tell you the same thing, that from the time in the 80s or with coming up with Marion Barry, he would allow black people into good government jobs. And they had tenure. You don't even hear that word no more. You have tenure on that job, which means you've been there for a while. You ain't got BSc or MA next to your name or PhD, but you got tenure. You've been here for a minute. What they started doing was testing those black people out of their positions. They had to get tests and, you know, qualifications and pass standards and get licenses to keep that job at 50 or 55 years, mere years away from their pension and retirement. And because they couldn't pass the test, they can't qualify. And now they fire them off the job, no pension. But guess who they're replacing them with? The younger black qualified worker. You get the point? Paying a little bit more, but still not getting what the white counterpart would get. So he's watching this and he's seeing that there's starting to, Shalom, brother, how you doing? That there's starting to be a little rift or a bit of you know, something is building within the black community that it started to bring forth different classes, right? Now, of course, he's writing it from a good old educated Negro standpoint, which is letting you know what? That some of his points is going to be pro-oppressor, right? Or appear like if it's pro-oppressor. All right. There we go. Go ahead.
You can see that even now. Rich Paul, who is LeBron's agent, and he actually is an agent to a good number of NBA players and other people outside of the NBA. Mm-hmm. And he's made, like, I want to say it was a post that came out because it was a big contract year, free agent year. Okay. And he made somewhere close to like $1 billion or $1.5 billion in total contracts for his clients. Damn. NBA is trying to make it so that you have to have a bachelor's degree to be an agent, and he doesn't have one. Yeah, because now they're going to give that to the young white boys, right? Or the younger generation that coming up with bachelor's degrees, who they could what? You could manipulate the younger generation now. The younger generation is a little bit detached from the social problems we had as people coming up, right? Younger generation a little bit detached. So because of that, they're able to manipulate the younger generation. And it's really racism. It's not, he's not saying here that racism doesn't exist. He's saying you can't just argue black and white no more. You had to go into the manifold, complicated thing that's going on with us for right now, right? Because an agent is based on relations. Like the relationship you have with somebody. That's who would be an agent for you. Not, you know, a bachelor's degree. You get the point? What you need that for me to convince this dude to come over here? It's based on trust. It's based on, I know you're not going to screw me over. I know you're not going to sign me to a bad deal. You get me? Shapat, I need you back on this one here. All right. So you're going to go through 122 to 125. You're just going to read where it's marked. All right. Okay. And then when you get done at 125, give me back and I'll tell you where it's to be. Okay. Go ahead, please. No, we good for now. We're going straight through. All right.
God. The very structure of the relationship between master and slave, not to mention the isolation of the later of...
So I can start it again? Read it again?
The very structure of the relationship between master and slave, not to mention the isolation of the latter on rural plantations, effectively prevented the development of a racial militant collective awareness.
Right. So now he's going into a little bit of the history and the observation of the slave revolts just before the abolition of slavery. Right. He made mention in earlier parts of the book that in the South there was also what you could describe as a very a familial relationship between the slave master and the slave, to the point where the slaves, in fact, let me get that because I need to read that with the video. You found the video?
Okay.
Let me get the book there for 1 second.
You talking about when she had a deposition?
No, this is a TV show. She's explaining. I'm gonna text you the words exactly to look for. Hold on. No, you're gonna read it out. You're gonna read it. It's right there. Salak, it's right there. Just read it again from the top where that bracket start, right there at the top. See it in the middle with that little bracket.
Oh, I see.
You see right there?
Come.
Yeah, just start it from there.
Come. The slave experience was conditioned by the structured relationships with the slave masters. The relationships that not only epitomized the extreme differences in racial status and power, but also became increasingly paternalistic after the ban on the African slave trade.
Mm-hmm.
The very structure of the relationship between master and slave, not to mention the isolation of the latter on rural plantations, effectively prevented the development of a racial militant collective awareness.
Right. So what he's saying there, in the South, you would have not very huge plantations by and large. There were huge ones. There were big ones. But then there were other ones that was not very huge, but they were more frequent. And because of that, over time, they had this kind of paternalistic relationship where our people started looking at the oppressor like family. You get the point? Like you see it in our neighborhoods today, especially in Chinese restaurants, where you go in there and they talk to Miss Lee like she's your auntie. Go ahead.
Mama's son.
Your mama's son. God damn. Say, Mama's son, what's going on, Mama's son? And Mama's son wants your black behind outer. She hates you like poison, but you going in there like, we know Mama's son. Don't do that to Mama's son. Some. You get the point? We start to develop that type of relationship, which is why the Lord told us, man, don't make no kind of deals with them. Smite them, rule over them. After deliver them to you, of course. Go ahead, Al.
Same thing with the Arabics. Everybody going there trying to be buddy with them, but they're trying to get your young underage daughter's number
and sons. Don't forget them sons. Don't forget them sons. You know what I mean? Say again.
And your excuse.
Go ahead. Anyone. You're right, Al.
And your money.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to take it all, right? But we going up in there having a ton of relations. Close relations with them. Not that's the word. Social relations. Go ahead.
Double standard.
Not the double standard, but more so we going in there trying to have terms of endearment. Like we call each other nigga as a term of endearment. We go in there and we try to forge a relation. Mama's son, that's Mama's son. That's Miss Lee. That's our key. What's going on, our Punya? You know what I mean? Making jokes. And we get so comfortable with them, they're making TikToks with us from behind the damn bulletproof glass. Yeah. And making jokes and doing all kind of dumb shit. You remember when COVID was there? And they're scanning you with the damn pin pad? Scanning the girl and telling her she got COVID and laughing because the girl is terrified. But it's the damn swiping pad. Not the swiping pad, the barcode scanner. Until she up in the damn bulletproof glass like this, and he here with the barcode scanner scanning her. You could go on the internet and see that. They make fun of our people because they absolutely hate us. But we are that type. We sheep. We are sheep. That's why the Lord calls us the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We not like them. Go ahead.
I can recognize that because I remember in the courier I grew up going to, one of the ladies behind the register. One day people were going on it because they were trying to order blunts, and they was like, "Let me get a blunt." And she's like, "How many?" It's like, "Let me a blunt." And she's like, "How many?" So he said one, gave it to her. I sat there and took the time and taught her if they say A, if they don't say a number, it just means they want one. You know what I'm saying? Later on,
what was she?
Huh?
What was she? Asian?
Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Slide my mate. Like later on, her son used to run back and forth in the curry out as a little kid. When I came back from Houston some years ago, he was kind of grown and he looked dead at me and was like, "Where you been?" You know what I mean? So like I understand what you're saying. It's like we knew each other on that point, man, and I was like, you know, almost like his fan.
Oh, listen, brother, it's rough out. It's rough. Especially that's another aspect of it that happens with us, where you go into the damn chicken joint, and especially the more restaurant style ones, not the takeout, but the ones where you could sit and eat sometimes. You go in there, and at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you see the little young one in the corner doing math homework. And sometimes they'll go back there and take the order for you. And about 5 years pass, and that nigga go into college on your fried rice and chicken wing money. That's how bad this thing is, Zach. You know what I mean? Keep reading. And once again, that's why it's saying the disappearing significance of race, where to them, the race argument is not even a factor anymore. That's why they get so puzzled with race. What are you talking about race? Because there's other things impacting that they can feel more. You get the point? They go ahead, keep going. You found it yet, Bukash?
All I'm seeing is deposition.
Hold on, just now. Keep reading out, Salakia.
There were, of course, a few sporadic slave revolts organized by free blacks and slaves who happened to reside in the cities and who were neither under nor influenced by the
Salakia, read it one more time. Yeah, it's worded bad. Listen, bear with me tonight, Hakim. It's worded real bad. Of course, look for the ones with the dogs, Zach, where she said they oh boy, she compared us to the dogs. That's you gotta look for them words, or compared us to, like, you know, having them around. Okay, I'm gonna look for it myself too. Go ahead, I thought it would have been easier to find.
There were, of course, a few sporadic slave revolts organized by free blacks and slaves who happened to reside in cities and who were neither under nor influenced by the close day-to-day plantation supervision.
Right. So now they're saying there was other revolts that was done, but because they wasn't so close to the oppressor on a day-to-day basis, they was able to establish certain close bonds with each other and a militant way of life. Right. They say that was missing from the first set of revolts. That's why they didn't last that long, or they wasn't that repetitive. Once they get crushed, and that's that. These revolts was able to, you know, shake up something, because it missed one factor called militancy. It's in the line above. You see it? There's a line above your red where it talk about it didn't have militancy. Read that part again.
The very structure of the relationship between master and slave, not to mention the isolation of the latter on rural plantations, effectively prevented the development of a racial militant collective awareness.
Right. It prevent having that close relationship with the oppressor. It prevented us from having a collective militant awareness. It prevented that, because why would I have to be like that? Master's good. Mama San, Apu, Aki, they're good people. He's good for a white boy. He good around here. He's, not all white people are bad. Even that Cat Williams said, it's not about what? It's not about really race. It's not about black or white. It's about God's side. Remember he said that? Remember he said that exactly. You understand? Because of course, you dealing with them every day. It's damn near natural to start to look at this thing like, it's good. It's got value. I could do, whatever. You understand? That's what was missing, which is what is valuable here in the UPK, having that collective militant mindset. You understand? Being separate. The whole trope in this thing is about separation. As we go through the whole book, well, not the whole book, but the certain chapters, it's about separation and the effectiveness of it. Go ahead.
Just that same mind state. Whenever I'm around the oppressor, they come in the store, anything, I'm watching. Like, I watch them. Like, to me, they're the threat in the store.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly how it is. That's how it's supposed to be. But it's because you come from that collective mindset. You know what I mean? Okay, Bukwash, you had to look for the one where she said, "Meet my black friend." Right? Hold on. And I think she says you could use the N-word, but she's not racist. Hold on. Right? I've used the N-word, but I'm not racist. And then she introduced her black friend, dog. And brother, you about to see something. It's supposed to blow your mind. If it don't, you gotta unplug yourself from the matrix. Dog. You gotta go take one of them pills. Could be. Because it was at that time it was a huge story, so everybody had it. Right? Go ahead.
Oh, God. However, the conditions conducive to a successful revolt, or even a large number of attempted revolts, did not exist in the antebellum South. Unlike slaves in Brazil and in the Caribbean, bondsmen in the Old South failed to forge a revolutionary tradition or to generate revolts of significant frequency, duration, size, and historical political magnitude.
Right. So now he's breaking down the effects of these revolts that would happen outside of America versus the ones in America. And in his opinion, what he's saying is what contributed to it was the closeness of having Esau there so much and the population ratio versus the colonies. That's what it was outside of America. In Brazil, the Caribbean, the colonies would have an overseer and a crew, but not so much numbers of actual people living there. So it was different. And of course, because you're not relying on the oppressor as much to provide every single thing, because there's more of you all there, the revolts was able to be consistent. And because of the consistency, it affected Esau's money. And because it affected Esau's money, now you have a political effect, an economic effect. That's what really start changing certain things. You get the point? That's how you're gonna. That's really how it's gonna change. Now you have people in the world thinking, "What's your economics? What's your economics?" and thinking that's all that's gonna happen. That's all that it takes to effect change. That's not what it takes because they don't have the understanding. The understanding is having that one body all together that goes left when you say goes left, goes right when you say goes right, down tools when you say down tools. It's being totally separate. That can affect someone's economy and their politics. We're gonna have to be a separate nation to effect it, though. Go ahead, Shapat.
Okay. The structural factors that account for these differences are general conditions that could be meaningfully applied in comparative explanations of slave revolts in other societies. Basically, a Genovese points out slave insurrections flourished in areas where plantations were very large, where there was a high ratio of slaves to free persons, where the ruling class was divided, where slaves had a chance to acquire military experience, and where the master-slave relations were more business oriented than materialistic.
So now that's what in other words, this was more separate. When there was a more clear-cut separation between the oppressor and us, the revolt was able to get good fuel. When the lines were blurred, you couldn't really get the revolt going and being successful and being repetitive enough to effect any change. Right there, that's what it's saying. Where it was more business-like, where it was real straight-up chattel slavery versus some sort of pseudo-independent, he's a good boy, that type of thing, which is what started happening with the South. You get the point? Which is why it became more difficult to do that type of consistent, going of revolts. All right? Any more?
Oh, constantly. None of these factors prevailed in the Old South.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the period of slavery, therefore, blacks were hardly in a position to mount a serious attack against the institution of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
They even had to depend on their paternalistic bond with the masters for protection against the abuses of the white lower class, which had helplessly but resentfully watched slavery erode its economic position in the South.
You understand? So now, even back then, which is what's happening now, which is what Trump fan base is that poor white trash. Even back then, them niggas, you on a plantation getting your back whipped out, picking cotton. And them devils was like, damn this nigga, I hate him. It's like, with God, you ain't got no mercy for nobody. Which is why they could bury 200 bodies behind a prison in Mississippi. Because even though this is in what, Jackson, Mississippi? Jackson, Mississippi, brother, this is poor rural South. Black people ain't doing a whole ton of good collectively. You a cop, you got your pension, you got pay, you carrying a full lethal weapon on your hip, right and wrong in so much power, and still the life of some poor black man or woman, you just have to snuff it out and bury it in the sand like it's not like a dog. Because that's really that's the root of where it comes from. Go ahead.
When you said burying 200 in Mississippi, whatever, what was the location where they buried some 20,000 black people and they call it like a peach? The peach?
The Devil's Punch Bowl.
Devil's Punch Bowl.
The Devil's Punch Bowl.
Where was that, sir?
I think that's Mississippi too, You could Google it. It'll tell you exactly where it is. It might be Natchez, Mississippi? Natchez, Mississippi. The Devil's Punch Bowl. They tell you the peaches from there. These devils don't even want to eat it. Because they know what fertilized the damn trees. You get the point? This is, the root of where it comes from. Right? That you stuck between poor white trash who just want to, take it from the plantation and lynch you and do whatever, and the oppressor who has some little value for you. So he'll, form the Quakers and form these little, white abolitionists to try to give you rights, because you'll have a kind of relationship. You get the point? But the real racism, you need him to help you protect, to help get you protection. That's one aspect. Then on the other plantations where it's business, you're a slave and that's all you are, and I'm selling you and selling this one and selling that one. It was easier to fuel a revolt there because of how separate we were. And that's what he's seeing. You reach the end of the bracket, or we have some more? Let me get the book again. You have the video? Cue it up for them, man. Go ahead. Hold on 1 second. Matthew? Can't forget Emmett Till. Clear difference. You know what I mean? Clear difference in the North and the South. All right? Yeah.
In my life.
Hold on, stop it. So this is Paula Dean, right? She, she was like that Martha Stewart, how she do that cooking shit now, right? She was Paula Dean. She had a famous cooking show before, cooking all the black soul food that she learned from the slaves, just putting the white face on it like she could cook something, right? That's really what she was doing, and she became famous about it. And brother, she went on TV and fully just said, yeah, some of these niggas talking normal, like not even, angry about, just normal. And it was like, because this was, what year was that, 2009 or something? 2013. It was, it ain't as now, where, could white people say nigga? That there was like, what the hell? And she was like, what's the big deal? We say nigga all the time. Let me tell you, and come on, go ahead. What was going to say? No, I'm telling you what she was saying then. This clip here, this is with the brother. Brother, this clip here, I think this is the Oprah show. Is it Oprah she went? She on some talk show, brother, because she had to do a ton of PR. They canceled her after this shit. Yeah. She couldn't cook butter. That was it. She was not allowed near a stove after this shit. Go ahead, Al.
I don't know if you ever seen her on a roast.
Yeah,
she really let you know how she feel about you on a roast.
Oh, she's old Southern antebellum devil. Like that's, you string him up, devil. Like, ain't no sweat. Cook hot dogs while you hanging from the tree. Come here, little boy. Come here, Petey. Yeah, watch yourself. That nigga foot don't hit you. That's her. Normal. Not even angry with you. Like, you just be long hanging from the tree. That's her. Go ahead.
I have a young man in my life, and his name is Hollis Johnson, and he's black as that board.
Isn't he here?
She out there trying to explain she's not racist. She said, I have a young man in my life. His name is Hollis Johnson, and he's about black as that board. That's what she said on the tape. Meaning this nigga, he ain't just black. He black. That nigga black like that board, because you'll have to see the clip. Behind her is like a black curtain on a black board. She said he about black as that board. Blick, not black. That's how bad you are. The eye, the A turned into her eye. Play it back again from the top of.
Safe. You can say things like that.
And his name is Hollis Johnson, and he's black as that board.
Isn't he here?
Stand up, Hollis.
Pull it back. Give me back black as that board.
And his name is Hollis Johnson, and he's black as that board.
Isn't he here?
Now, before she said, I have a young man in my life. You ladies, you don't know what that means. So her defense for not being racist is that she has a bedwench. And he but black at that board. Go ahead, Ark.
Stand up, Hollis.
You heard that part. Play it again. You heard the people in the audience chuckle? Go ahead.
Miss Hollis Johnson, and he's black as that board.
Isn't he here?
Stand up, Hollis.
Hollis here. Hi, Hollis.
Stop it right there. You know, she said, come out here, Hollis. Like she was calling a dog. His name is Hollis Johnson. Isn't he here? Come out here, Hollis. Stand up, Hollis. That's the man in her life. She's not racist. And he came out there like a trained dog. Come on, Hollis did a tape, bro. I'm gonna look for it and try to put it back out. Comparing the shit to like how you call a dog. And he came right there. She's sitting in the chair. He came and stood right by her and she touched him. He's been in my life and he drives me around and blah, 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 blah. And she's not racist. And then she, all right, Hollis. And he walked back off the stage, brother, like Django, like Leonardo DiCaprio calling them slaves and then Django. She did that on TV, Ark. That's the relationship he's talking about. With that type of relationship, you can't fuel a revolt. You can't fuel a revolution. You can't fuel black people standing up. You get the point? That's what was existing. Go ahead.
With what you're bringing out, with the scripture that was brought out earlier, the Lord has to deliver the enemy to us. Because we're, in this captivity, we're ours.
That's true. But the deliverance is going to come from being separate, which is what the point of this is. Because he was saying the other revolts that were successful, it didn't have that type of paternalistic relationship. It didn't have that type of intertwined. Whereas this is not business. This is like a family I'm functioning in. When it's like a family you're functioning in, take the trash out is a routine thing for the family. But if you're an employee or slave, you forced to do that for some menial wage or nothing or for a bed. You get the point? That type of relationship, it's easy now to start rebelling and coming together. It's just like imagine you start slaving in like a mom and pop business, and then you go slave for Bank of America or something. Which one you're more likely to form a union with the employees with? Yeah, because this mom and pop business is like family. You get the point? That's what he said. Let's get some. Oh, Slack, I had the book here. Give me some more. Give me 124. Yeah. You're reading to here. You'll jump across here. You'll stop right here. All right. I might want this quote right here. Go ahead.
If I could.
Yeah, there's some more. All right, no sweat. Let's pull it back again to he about black as that board, and then play it forward.
A young man in my life, and his name is Hollis Johnson, and he's black as that board.
Isn't he here? Is
Stand up, Hollis.
Is Hollis here?
Come
Hi,
out here,
Hollis.
Hollis. We can't see you standing against that dark board.
Oh, God damn. Yikes. That's Paula Dean, yo. She was cooking, she was teaching your auntie how to cook. You love Paula Dean. No, she wasn't. I'm just joking. But that's Paula Dean. She said, you can't see him standing up against that damn board. And he did not say nothing. Now, Hollis is a buck. That's what you call a buck Negro. Hollis ain't small. That's a big dude. He ain't flinch. He ain't look at her. He ain't nothing. Which lets you know what? Hollis grew up under her family. And he is the home-born slave. He's that. You get the point? He is that. Now, from that, you could start to build a class of slave within the black community. Go ahead. You could start a program. That's how you get the class, because now he close to them. He getting benefits. He's not like the others. Now you could start to build a class within there. And now it's not so much the oppressor. They're going to start fighting each other. You get the point? Any more? You could play it. You could play it back again. Yeah, you could play it back one more time, man. I missed that damn clip. He about black as that board. That's it. Damn.
His name is Hollis Johnson, and he's black as that
Is
board.
here, isn't he here?
Stand up, Hollis.
Is Hollis here?
Come
Hi,
out here,
Hollis.
Hollis. We can't see you standing against that dark board.
Pull it back. Brother, that little 15 seconds was so loaded. This is he probably was what, 6'4"? He look about 6'4" on the tape. He said his name is Hollis Johnson. That's a nigga name right there, bro. That's as good nigga as you could get. The only thing she had to change his name to Jerome. His middle name got to be Jerome. He says, Hollis Johnson. Come out here, Holly, like a dog. Come on.
Isn't he here?
Stand up, Hollis.
Stand up, Hollis.
Is Hollis here?
Come
Hi,
out here,
Hollis.
Hollis. We can't see you standing against that dark board.
Hey. Welcome to New York City. All right.
Welcome to the South.
Hi, Hollis.
But you know, I tell people.
The host say, welcome to New York City. She said, welcome to the South. What's she saying? What's she saying? Go ahead. What is she saying? Like the host is saying, welcome to New York City, Hollis. The host trying to be polite because of the embarrassment. Yeah, welcome to New York City. We'll get him. I'll come to him up here. Go ahead. Basically, go ahead.
Welcome to Make America Great Again.
No, she's saying this is the South. Where I go, it's the South. Yeah. They don't care that this nigga come north. Right. This is the South. He gonna be black as that board. He gonna stand when I tell him stand, and he gonna come here, Holly, like a trained dog. I'm not racist. Come here, Holly. Any more?
Paul, this is my son by another father.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this young man. I would travel to hell with him, and I know I can trust him with my life, and color ain't got nothing to do with it.
That's the disappearing significance of race. You understand? That's it. It's from there you're gonna have that class that's going to be separated from us, and they're going to try to grow that class, grow it. Every politician comes in and says, what? We trying to grow which class? Oh, damn, y'all lost now. The middle class. Slovakia. They tried to grow the middle class until I think is what was Obama. They say the middle class is disappeared. It's the rich and the poor now. But from before, every politician was trying to fatten up the middle class because they want more hollis. Because when there's not that, you're going to have the ingredients to polarize people and pull them together. Trump found that out, though. Trump realized that, and he tapped. There was the ingredients there for him. Because even though this is Esau's kingdom, there's a whole disgruntled, the poor white trash community that he loves. Not really love them. He's going to use them, but they love him. And that's his fan base. You get the point? Let me get some more. Go ahead and read. Go ahead.
She also called him her son.
She said that's her son by another mother or some kind of shit. So, which is slave talker. That's, her family is an old slave family, got plantations and properties. They probably owned his generations before.
Come. The change from pre-industrial to an industrial system of production facilitated and directly contributed to the growth of the urban Black community. As Negroes began migrating in significant numbers from the rural South to the nation's burgeoning industries, burgeoning industrial centers, Black enclaves sprang up in various parts of those cities. These Negro neighborhoods reflected both class, subordination, and racial segregation. Blacks were trapped in the most deteriorated or run-down residential sections, not only because...
Okay, read the beginning of that part. Just when, he's saying now, because Black people moved north with the Industrial Revolution, and these industries starting, and of course the abolition of slavery, starting to move north, where the system of it wasn't that rigid, right? The system of it wasn't that rigid. It still existed, but it wasn't that rigid. And of course, the owners was trying to maximize money by hiring cheap labor, similar to what's going on with who right now. Say it again. Say it loud for the people in the back. The Mexicans. They're trying now to underpay I.S.U.P.K to do the job that they don't want to pay everybody else to do. Meanwhile, it's like throwing the stones and hiding their hands, underpaying I.S.U.P.K, telling I.S.U.P.K come, but then going on TV and say we have an immigration problem. I don't know what the hell is going on. Brother, do you know they're giving I.S.U.P.K free flights to wherever city they want to go to?
Right.
You could pull it up. You could Google the thing. They're telling them they'll give you free flights out of New York and Texas. That's why they're sending them on buses to go anywhere you want to. We have a problem? No. It's just you're doing the same thing over. You're doing the same thing over because now you're trying to get I.S.U.P.K to come and do all these jobs that these oppressors don't want to do or want a pound and a crown to do. They could pay I.S.U.P.K lower to do the thing. And on the front face saying it's an immigration problem when this whole thing is just a diabolical plan. And the white classes, there's like, no, this is a problem. Because why? When I.S.U.P.K come, where they going to be moving in? Suburbia. Get the point? That's why it's a problem. If they was dropping I.S.U.P.K off in the hood, nobody would give a damn. You understand? That's what was happening before. Get the point? Keep reading. Yeah, please.
These Negro neighborhoods reflected both class, subordination, and racial segregation.
So these neighborhoods that would grow because of the migration, it was still segregated. And it still represented class subordination and racial subordination. Why? Because we were separate and gain less, but we were together. So we knew what? The man was the devil. This man had the foot on their foot on our necks. Just think the whole good times type trope. You get the point? We was together. We understood something. We knew who they were. We understood that. We know there wasn't fair, there wasn't right, because we were still together, even though some funds were starting to trickle in now. Keep going.
Blacks were trapped in the most deteriorated or run down residential sections, not only because of poverty, but also because of stringent pattern of housing discrimination.
Right? Everybody know about that redlining laws and all that type of stuff, right? So now you're seeing the racism is there, but it ain't kicking in your door and selling your baby. It's economic and political now, right? And it still now forces us together. We making the best with what we have, which we've done traditionally, like Tulsa, Oklahoma. But we know who he is. We understand that. We still do it poor though, compared to them. But it's just better than the South. You understand? Just understand this oppressor, when he works out your salary, he has a metric and he knows just how much to pay. Why do you think your salary is just think like you drowning and all you could keep afloat is your mouth and your nose. That's your salary. It's enough for you to pay that rent, to pay that bills, eat more ramen than good food, get to work and back with a few leisurely stops for the month. A few. And you can't go far. You could go right to the bar down the street or go watch one game for the month. But that's just enough that you get. You understand? That's it. This is not by coincidence. This is a metric they work out. Because the same job you go into, when Chad come in happy, hey, how's your weekend? Tyrone? Hey man, you know how it is, man. Trying to make ends meet. What do you do? Oh, I went skiing. Where the hell he getting that money from? You're doing the same, he's getting paid more. You just don't know it. He's getting paid much more. You don't know it.
That's right.
Come on.
Not to mention all the loans he get to have and all the other benefits.
Loans don't matter. He could pay that shit off in a year.
It's a lot, yes, sir.
Go ahead, so what?
And as they're bringing out that, did I remind me the first time I came up now, and we was down in Louisiana.
Right.
You see that they would do now. They would leave off like on a Tuesday for that whole weekend and come back probably Monday and say, well, they know they're going to spend time with their family, and both of you are doing the same job. And just as I say, they bring in I.S.U.P.K. I.S.U.P.K. would just come in and just fill in the space now.
Yeah.
For when they leave off. It's like, yes.
Yeah, listen, you're right out. Listen, and if they're getting paid a good bit, they come that hangover coming Monday. They coming in still that damn Budweiser, drinking that coffee. Say, how was your weekend, man? Man, it was great. They enjoying life different to what you enjoy now. And let's get some more because the time going with this.
That the typical black migrant did not escape poverty when he arrived in the city in the first quarter of the 20th century.
Right, within the first quarter of the 20th century, is what, 1900 to 1925, somewhere around there. He did not escape poverty, right? It was just enough to be able to live, which lets you know what was going on in the South at that same time. If he did not just escape poverty, they was below poverty. You get the point? He was living horrible, but close enough like Hollis. Where, come here, Holly. He about black as that boy. Yes, Mr. Dean. And that's where it is. Go ahead.
Okay. Although the standard of living in the city was still higher than in the rural South.
That's what they're saying. Go ahead.
Is seen in the overwhelming concentration of Negroes in the low status occupations such as domestic and service jobs.
That's what was on our table to do, and still to a point this day. You know what I mean? Still to a point this day, right? That's the domestic and service jobs. That's damn near how it is, especially for like West Indian people. Benjamin and Levi and Simeon leave the islands and come to America, brother. You're gonna be a nurse or a house cleaner. That's it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna work that 18-hour shift. Why? Because where you come from is just worse. This is not great. But it's what I do in there is just, it don't make no sense. You get the point? Keep going. Any more? We stop. You in the next page have any markings?
Yes.
All right, yeah, get to the next set of markings.
However, during the first two decades of the 20th century, the old black elite was gradually displaced by a new leadership of black businessmen and professionals whose base was in the growth.
That's what I was explaining to you before, when they aged out in the job, and Esau aged them out and take the younger, quote unquote, educated ones. Right? You would hear different historians talk about the change in the school system in America, especially in our schools, where they started moving away from the skilled education in outside of your regular math, your English, your science, whatever. There was a part of the curriculum that was trade oriented, where you had workshop and plumbing and this and that. The woman would learn home economics and different things. That's removed from America's education system by and large now. And guess what's booming now?
Computers and stuff like that.
Well, that's what they're sending you to. But guess what the computers need? Plumbing. And somebody to frame the house. The trade is making the money, but we done moved away from it to the point where even in our community, we had to outsource. That's one thing the I.S.U.P.K and El Salvadorans in their community, they definitely have a lot of. You get the point? The more trade skilled laborers. You get the point? That you could really market something into. They done steered us away from that with creating the class. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they say they hired them and it created a different class. Go ahead.
That's the same thing they did with the midwives.
Exactly. That kind of disappeared, even though it's still part of the healthcare system. But this is their way of using politics and economics to integrate us before the actual MLK integration. Right? Go ahead.
Was segregated. Black community and who had little contact or association with the white community. Unlike the old integration-orientated elite, whose contacts in the white community went back not only to the fluid period of race relations from 1870 to 1890, but also to the abolitionist era of the late antebellum period.
Right. So now they're actually trying to break off from that and bring in another thing. Any more on it? Or you gotta skip to the other thing? If I got some more, go ahead.
This new leadership abandoned the dream of integration. As the South was rapidly developing a rigid pattern of Jim Crow segregation, as race relations in the North deteriorated at the turn of the century, the emerging Negro business and professional class turned inward and espoused the philosophy of self-help and racial solidarity.
Right. So now this was in the early part of the 20th century, like ones in the 1900s to 1950s. Because we were still segregated and was getting some sort of money, we was able to now culture and foster a generation that comes up educated. And now that generation did what? Helped us, which is why in the 50s and the 60s, you had black doctors, black lawyers, black professors. The doctor would come to your house, black dentists. It's from that. Even the history with the Pullman workers, who was part of the bus boycotts. Go ahead. With the train, where they would be on the trains getting the money, sending it back to send the young generation to school. You get the point? Because now, because our people moved from the South but was still separated and segregated, we fully understood who he was, and we had to do for ourselves because we ain't going to depend on him. We moving away from that integration shit. We ain't trying to do that, which is why what Martin Luther King did was so evil. It was so evil to fool the later, according to the history, these generations growing up now think he was so great. When nobody wanted to be in the white restaurant and drink from the white fountain, the whole purpose of the movement was for equal money. We wanted more money. So we could do what? Help ourselves. Not to go, sit in Woolworth and all that nonsense. That wasn't the purpose of the whole movement. And you've seen it right here. They turn inward on ourselves. We turn on ourselves. Not turn ourselves in a negative way, but we turn to each other. We gather together, O nation not desired. Didn't have the Lord with us, though. And that's why it didn't last. Any more?
Just a little bit more.
Come on.
Eloquently articulated.
You could skip that part. You know what I mean? Give me let me see the book again. All right. Give me the first Ezra 8, and it starts at 82.
It's First Ezra chapter 8, verse 82.
Hold on, let me read this part here. They said, this small but growing group of black businessmen, ministers, politicians, journalists, and other professionals excluded from the white community, and this is a quote, worked to create a cohesive and self-sufficient black metropolis. They were the architects of the institutional ghetto. You understand? Like that's what really started happening with us. Because we were what? Excluded from the oppressor. We were separate from him and was given a little bit and did a lot with it. That had to change, though. That had to change. Let me get on First Ezra real quick.
This is First Ezra chapter 8, verse 82.
Mm-hmm.
And now, O Lord, what shall we say having these things?
Mm-hmm.
For we have transgressed thy commandments.
You understand? Like this is Ezra's praying to the Lord and saying, now he asking him, what shall we say? We done disobeyed you. We done disobeyed you, disrespected you, disobeyed all your laws. Go ahead.
Which thou gavest by the hand of thy servants, the prophets, saying that the land which ye enter into to possess as a heritage is a land polluted with the pollutions of the strangers of the land.
Hold on. Where you reading from? 82?
This is 83 right now.
Okay, Salaki. Read from 83 again.
Colonel Khan.
Verse 83. From here, 147.
That the land which ye enter into to possess as an heritage is a land polluted with the pollutions of the strangers of the land, and they have filled it with their uncleanness. Verse 84.
Stop right there. Read it again.
That the land which ye enter into to possess as an heritage is a land polluted with the pollutions of the strangers of the land.
Now understand that anywhere we go, this was the line he was giving us here. This is the Canaanites he's talking about, but this is wherever we go. Understand that these lands we go into is inhabited by the oppressor, and the heathen is greatly polluted by them. We can't join up with these people. We absolutely can't. And in Leviticus 18, I tell you, this land is polluted with the abomination of the oppressor. It's polluted with the abomination of the oppressor. What's the proof? Them Epstein files. Them Epstein files come out this week, brother. You're talking about Cat Williams, bro. You better go try to get your hands on them Epstein files. That's the only better read than Cassie's documents. Cassie's documents was the last good book of last year. Them Epstein files, boy. Yikes. Them niggas was having fun. Fun, real coke-infused liquor. Whoa, fun. Damn. That nigga had a whole island on Epstein Island. Damn. Nasty niggas, according to Kazak. I need a t-shirt to that. Nasty nigga. Go ahead. Go ahead with the Ezra's.
And they have filled it with their uncleanness. Verse 84. Therefore, now shall ye not join your daughters unto their sons, neither shall ye take their daughters unto your sons. 85. Moreover, you shall never seek to have peace with them, that they may be strong and eat the good things of the land, and that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore.
Right. And in with that inheritance of leaving the land and the riches, you're also leaving something else to your children. That's way more valuable. The law, our customs, our tradition, that has to be passed down. That's what happened with the Maccabees family. The Maccabees family was militant and, turned back the oppressor and rededicated the temple. And then what happened?
So made a deal. One of them made a deal with the oppressor.
He started getting with the oppressor. And the Maccabees, from the Maccabees family, is where you get the Pharisees. Hard times. We say hard times create hard men. Hard men create good times create soft men. Soft men create hard times. It's a cycle again. You get the point? You're going to have to pass it all the way down. Make no marriages with them. Make no covenants with them. Don't, do this with them. Don't do that with them, which is what the heathens pass down to their children. What do you think happens when Young Ho's restaurant, how many Chinese restaurants you grew up with in your neighborhood is not the same every 5 years or 10 years? They're always changing. And a new family come in. And a new family come in and you would think, well, they're more modern now and they might treat you different. Why the hell they're treating you just like how they used to treat you? Because they're passing it down. It's indoctrinated. Go ahead. Come on with it.
Yeah, they rotate out. Let another family have a chance to make some money.
That's it.
And move on to a high step. The older casino still tainting in our neighborhood.
Exactly. Because now they know we destroyed. We're going to just be feeding them that money. Hold on one second.
Do anything about it.
Shalom, sir. You have a shot there. Okay. Go ahead, brother.
As I was saying, pass it on from family to family.
Right.
And, they do have opportunity to make money and whatnot. Still taking from the neighborhood, taking to their neighborhood.
Yep.
Not putting back into our neighborhood. Maybe just where they are.
Exactly.
Especially the smoke shops.
Yep. They definitely do it like that. Go ahead, Shapat.
Sir, that same restaurant I was talking about earlier, that little son that was running around, that just passed on from one generation to the next. He owned it now.
What we on? What we on? The original Kings of Comedy. I got 6 Netflix specials. Steve Harvey got 4. None of them are Tubi on Netflix. You don't even own Netflix or Tubi. Come on, let's go. Right up on the time. Let's go.
Verse 85, verse 86. And all that is befallen is done unto us for our wicked works and great sins. For thou, O Lord, didst make our sins light.
Go ahead, Ak. Come on, Ak, please.
Verse 87. And didst give unto us such a root, but we have turned back again to transgress thy law, and to mingle ourselves with the uncleanness of the nations of the land.
You understand? Like, that's what we did. That's what we did. We didn't obey his laws. Let me get the rest of that book there, because we write up on the time.
Go, sir. Racial conflicts between blacks and whites in both situations were closely tied to class conflicts among whites. On the other hand, there were some fundamental differences. The collapse of the paternalistic bond between blacks and the southern business elite cleared the path for the almost total subjugation of blacks in the South and resulted in what amounted to a united white racial movement that solidified the system of Jim Crow segregation.
You understand? You understand what started happening? Everybody understand? Read it a little bit again from the top, that top, please.
Racial conflicts between blacks and whites in both situations were closely tied to class conflicts among whites. On the other hand, there were some fundamental differences. The collapse of the paternalistic bond between blacks and the southern business elite cleared the path for the almost total subjugation of blacks in the South and resulted in what amounted into a united white racial movement that solidified the system of Jim Crow segregation.
Right? That's what started to happen. As we started to come together and build our own, they started to unite behind the hatred for us having anything. So race is still there. He's not saying it's gone, but that was then. Forward to now, the race argument by itself, it don't hold enough. So that's why you're gonna have to go and bring up all these things and show systematic racism, the red line, and this, that, the other. But the significance of just I hate you before because you black, it's so masked right now. It's not gonna hold no weight in the argument. You get the point? Keep going.
However, a united white movement against blacks never really developed in the North. In the first quarter of the 20th century, management attempted to undercut white labor by using blacks as strike breakers, and in some situations, as permanent replacements for white workers who periodically demanded higher wages and more fringe benefits.
Right, you understand what he's saying? Right, they was using us as the filling, like how they do with Issachar now. You get the point? They did the immigration thing and started deporting Issachar out there in Eastern Maryland, going out to Chesapeake Bay and all that type of places. The whole crab industry dried up because it was Issachar who was really running the whole crab thing. And so many industries dried up. When some restaurants closed down, they try to blame it on the COVID. That ain't what it was. Issachar was back then, them Italian restaurants cooking. In them pizza shops in DC, all them Greek shops that getting all these big accolades. It's Issachar back there cooking. Zebulon back there cooking. Go ahead.
Oh God, drop it down. The more management used blacks to undercut white labor, the greater were the racial antagonisms between white labor and black labor. Moreover, racial tension and the industry sector often reinforced and sometimes produced racial tension in the social order. The growth of black urban population created a housing shortage during the early 20th century, which frequently produced black invasions or ghetto spillovers into adjacent poor white neighborhoods.
You understand? So now as we start, growing up, we started to expand. Now, once again, he got his education from Harvard. He, brushed shoulders with them devils. So the way he writing it is, he started to make it seem like we the problem. We went and started living in their neighborhoods and all that type of shit. Bullshit. Right? He did use this for this. This is why they hate us. Because we were staying separate and we was thriving. Any more?
Indeed, it was the combination of racial friction in both the economic sector and the social order that produced the bloody riots in East St. Louis in 1917 and in Chicago and several other cities in 1919.
Right? Because of what? Because we started having it. You understand? And this is what, 1917 and 1919? What was happening around that time?
Was it Red Summer?
And the beginning of the Depression. You get the point? The Red Summer was with the Dust Bowl and the America's agriculture taking a hit because of the drought in the South and all that type of stuff. It's a lot of it didn't affect us. You get the point? Come on, give me the next page.
If race is declining in significance in the economic sector, explantations of racial antagonism based on labor market conflicts, such as those advanced by economic class theories of race, also have less significance in the period of modern industrial race relations. Neither the low-wage sector nor the corporate and government sectors provide the basis for the kind of interracial job competition.
So, lucky, I might have to skip that just for the end. Skip to the other page. All right. Let me get This Is Not Your Rest real quick. Go ahead. Go ahead.
153.
Yeah, go ahead.
However, it could be argued that the firm white resistance to public schools, desegregation, residential integration, and black control of central cities all indicate the unyielding importance of race in America.
Right? Because they was trying to say the race thing was disappearing because of the money. But when you look at what was happening with our schools and how the white people was fighting against desegregation, race did have a huge swing into it. Go ahead. Okay. Keep going.
The argument could even be entertained that the impressive occupational gains of the black middle class are only temporary.
Right.
And
so now this is another argument they're saying. The impressive gains of the black middle class was only temporary. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. And that as soon as affirmative action pressures are relieved.
Are what?
Are relieved.
Mm-hmm.
Or as soon as the economy experiences a prolonged recession, industries will return to their old racial practices.
Read on.
Okay. Both of these arguments are compelling, if not altogether persuasive.
Uh-huh.
Taking the latter.
The latter, which is what? That the middle class, though impressive, the minute they stop the pressure of affirmative action and some prolonged recession, economy would go back to its old racist ways. That's the latter he's talking about here. Go ahead.
Okay. Taking the latter contention first, there is little available evidence to suggest that the economic gains of privileged blacks will be reversed.
He said, looking at all of that, that ain't gonna never happen. Black people just keep prospering. 30 years later, critical race theory, or 40 years later, critical race theory, the revoking of affirmative action, the whole talk of reverse racism, and then the pandemic, global recession. Now everybody bawling, everybody crying. There's no middle class. He needed a prophet. He needed a prophet to tell him, don't put that in the book. You're gonna sink the book. Go ahead.
If I could, it's like the Asians was one of the big proponents against affirmative action.
Right.
And they were saying affirmative action was keeping a lot of Asians out of the school.
Exactly, and they fought to have it removed.
And then when they got it removed, now even less Asians are getting into college, and now we're saying, what the hell we just did?
Yeah, it don't make no sense. Give me This Is Not Your Rest. We done.
This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
That's what the Bible says. Arise and depart. This is not your rest. With that, pass the class over to priest and officer Shapat.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the Commander General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When new brother and sister comes to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew, and it's pronounced I.S.U.P.K. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, Purim, the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month, Thursday, the 22nd of February, and Friday, the 23rd of February, 2024. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 through 31. Also, the Lord's 54th annual Passover coming up in Durham. The Lord's 55th annual Passover coming up in April 20th in Durham, North Carolina. This is the week of April 18th through April 21st. Make sure you get all your travel arrangements and book your hotels now. Remind Ahmed Akwak and to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headband or scarf. And with that, I say I.S.U.P.K, which means.
Also, if you would like to donate clothes, we just did a clothing drive up in New York last year, at the end of last year. If you want to donate clothes so that we can continue to do stuff like that for our people, contact your local camp leader and donate some clothes so that we can continue doing the same thing that we did up in New York all throughout wherever we are. Salaki.
Okay. And with that, I say I.S.U.P.K, which means to stand. Since you may remain seated, we'll give a courtesy salute to the teacher, individual of Mount Shabbat, I.S.U.P.K, Barak, Yahanna, Shimei, Brakatah, Yad Yamatah, Saw, which means to turn. Sisters, I.S.U.P.K, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the sisters, individual of Mount Shabbat, I.S.U.P.K, Barak, Yahanna, Shimei, Yad Yamatah, class dismissed.